Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I'm going to talk about the trailer that came out for Season 2 of DC Stargirl. If you haven't seen it already, I'll include a link to it in the description down below. But I think this trailer does a really interesting job of kind of giving us a little insight into next season in the regards of, obviously, it's about Courtney kind of balancing her life as, like, you know, her mom, you know, telling her, like, if you want to, like, you got to figure out whether putting on that mask is more important than kind of threatening everything that you've built. Because I think it's so interesting because they're kind of setting it up so that Courtney is the only one that's all about, like, now we got to keep vigilant about this superhero thing, whereas the other members of the Justice Society are like, no, like, I think that because they aren't dealing with supervillains anymore. I'm sure, like, that the context of that is there was probably like a really like small thing that turned out to not be like, it was probably like a petty crime or something, but it's like, should we really be stepping in? Should we leave this to like local law enforcement? Or maybe it's just something that Courtney mistook for something else. Maybe in actuality it really is something bigger, but at the time the team doesn't really believe her that it's something else because they're thinking she's just looking for something, you know, bigger. Because the thing is, when you actually think about it, if it was like a petty crime thing, it'd be interesting because they haven't really dealt with like street level crime, because they went from 0 to 100. They went straight from like nothing to like super villains, so a whole squad of them. So it's like, it is kind of interesting to think about it, like, oh, you know, small petty crime probably wouldn't necessarily be on the radar, but like I said, it might be a thing of like Courtney's being treated as like a, oh, you're kind of just, you're looking for a fight, you're trying to like do the superhero thing, so you're kind of imagining stuff that's not really there type of thing. And I think that whole thing does present an interesting thing because for Courtney, maybe just considering everything that happened last season, it's like, no, we got to be on top of this, because when the JSA wasn't expecting it, the ISA hit them, they got wiped out. It's like, we always got to be on top of this, protecting not only ourselves, but the people in this town and the people we love and care about. So I think there's an element of that. Part of me wonders, does it have anything to do with Brainwave's son? Like, I wonder, does that play any role in why she's also wanting to be vigilant and everything? But she also brings up a point of like, right, like, what about other trouble? I mean, because Cindy Shiv, she's still out there, which we get a little bit in this trailer about that. Rick's like, oh, you know, with Solomon Grundy, it's like, well, Grundy's still alive and out there, so, but I guess it's like, right, he's more like, because I know that character can go play an anti-hero role in certain regards. I believe it's the Justice League cartoon, maybe specifically Justice League Unlimited, that really showcased like Grundy being more of a good guy. I don't know if that's something that's happened in the comic books or not, but maybe we could see certain elements of that kind of pop up in this show. But I mean, he's still out there, but he probably won't be the uncontrollable monster he kind of was before, you know? But the real thing I think is kind of interesting is, once again, we're getting into that superhero thing of identity. And that's something Courtney didn't really have to deal with too much in Season 1. The only extent she really had to do that with was with her mom. Because, well, her mom and her brother. They're the only ones who didn't know at the time. So we never really got too much in Season 1 of, hey, here's me trying to balance my life, because it was all kind of like superheroism. And I think that's going to be an interesting thing, because for Courtney, she hasn't really been Courtney since she became Stargirl, because it's hard to go back to who you were, like having like a normal regular life as Courtney when you've lived as Stargirl. Like, this has kind of become a part of her identity, and finding that like balance, especially because she's found this new purpose, something that she's good at, something she was chosen for, and to kind of return to a normal life just seems not right, especially because she's almost in that superhero mode of like, no, I gotta be, I'm chosen, I gotta do superhero stuff like all the time, because who she was before is no longer kind of who she is now, because she's grown and changed so much since becoming Stargirl. But everything she experienced over the course of Season 1, I think a lot of that's got to be considered, you know, in certain regard. Who is Courtney now type of thing, you know? It's a little kind of, you know, the whole thing with a secret identity, it's interesting that I think that could be an element in this story of this season, being, you know, Courtney discovering her new identity, balancing these two worlds, and if there's even a need to balance the two worlds, you know? So I think that's kind of a fascinating thing. I think we're going to get a little bit more about some of that stuff that was left behind from the OG JSA, as we see like, oh, I'm Green Lantern's daughter, so I was like, okay, we're getting us a lantern, okay, which is going to be pretty dope. I'm curious to see kind of what that turns out. I think we're finally finding out about that pink pen, because we see like that pink creature or being or whatever, so I'm like, okay, I think that's connected to that. So we're probably going to like those are going to start getting passed out, which I'm like, well, we know like Jay Garrett's helmet is a part of that too, so I'm like, are we going to get a speedster a part of this as well? I don't know, maybe, maybe not. I wonder, since they already have the Flash, I wonder will they kind of stay away from that for now. A villain popping up. Then do correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a while since I've seen season 1, but he's one of the ISA people, isn't he? That he's one of, like, I think he's one of the members we never really found out what he's been up to post killing the OG JSA. I vaguely feel like they talked about him a little bit, but it was still unclear like whatever happened to him. I think that's him, if I'm not mistaken. I'm wondering, is that going to be a separate thing from everything Shiv is up to, or is that going to be a thing of like, no, they eventually come together? Since she is currently the only pseudo member of the ISA out and about and free, like, I'm wondering, is she going to try, you know, the JSA got built up from a new generation. I guess she's trying to do that, not less home dude with the top hat is going to try and do that himself. So maybe there's going to be them coming together. I think based on the trailer, it seemed like she might have been putting her own squad together. So like, you know, a new ISA to battle the new JSA type of thing. Obviously, these are just some of my thoughts about things. I'd love to get to know yours in the comments down below. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.